We can start.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. اللهم صل وسلم على محمد. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Those who are joining us online and via Zoom. Thank you very much for coming. We are continuing our discussion on the messengership of Muhammad. We're asking ourselves, what is the reason of believing that Muhammad, peace be upon him, must be a messenger of God, and what kind of criteria are we looking for? We've been studying these questions for a while, and we will be starting today from the 13th droplet, so you can think of it as the 13th reason or aspect. Yeah, so I will go ahead and start reading inshallah. With the perfect order observed in the universe, which has caused scholars and the intelligent to pronounce, it is not possible for there to be anything better than what exists, and the faultless beauty of art within mercy, the incomparable beauty of dominicality. Would these permit the ugliness, the cruelty, the lack of order of its hearing and responding to the least significant, the least important desires and voices, and its considering unimportant, the most important, the most necessary wishes, and it's not hearing them or understanding them and not carrying them out, God forbid, 100,000 times God forbid. Such a beauty would not permit such an ugliness. It would not become ugly. It's a very long question, so I will read it again, but in parts. Again, would the perfect order observed in the universe, so we're thinking of the perfect order that we can see in the universe, that many scholars said about it, it is not possible for there to be anything better than what exists. And the faultless beauty of art within mercy, the incomparable beauty of dominicality. I'm already confused. I read it the first time and I thought I understood it, and now I'm confused. Can someone break it down for me? Go ahead.
So I'll try. It's simply, the paragraph says, the universe is perfect. Everybody who have intelligence and studied the universe understands that this is the best way of organizing the universe. Nothing can be better than what already exists in the universe. Okay. And also, not only the order is perfect, but beauty of art within mercy. It means everything is beautiful, but this beautiful is not meaningless. The human beings love it, love the beauty, enjoy it, and entertain it. And how the universe is organized and arranged is incomparably beautiful. So everything seems to be perfectly arranged. Beauty is aimed at, and entertainment of the human beings also are satisfied in the way that the universe has been created. Okay. Is it possible, then the question is asked here, that this perfect order, perfect beauty, let the human desire, the most necessary wishes of the human beings, not to be answered? Is it possible? Think. The one who created this universe in such a way that we described, and everything, the needs of every creature has been satisfied in this order, but one thing has not been satisfied. This is very often repeated in these texts because it is the most essential matter for human beings. I love existing, I love life, I love entertaining the beauty of the universe, and I am very comfortable within the order of this universe. Everything is arranged as I like as a human being, and my desires are 99.9 are satisfied. But one thing, the most important thing, is not satisfied. So the question is it possible that the one who arranged this perfect universe, as far as human perceptions are concerned, the universe is perfect? Some people may speculate, and they do speculate, that saying that we don't know, maybe there may be another way of this better existence. But as far as I am concerned now, as far as the reality outside in the universe, out there in the universe is concerned, I see it is perfectly arranged. So my problem is with my own desire, which is satisfaction of my wish. What is that? Perfect satisfaction and existing eternally with no problems in my life. That is how my feelings have been created. That is my concern. No one wants to be ill. No one wants to die. No one wants to be in a trouble. No one wants to be lack of satisfaction in any sense. That is human desire. Every desire has been fulfilled. The universe is perfectly arranged and decorated, beautified. But one thing is not, and that is not satisfied within the conditions of this universe, and that thing is the most necessary wishes of human beings. The question is very simple. Is it possible that the one who created this universe should not respond and satisfy the most necessary wishes of human beings? So this this is important as far as our subject is concerned, because only through the message of the messenger, Muhammad, for now, for our age, gives the answer to this. Says, definitely the one who created the universe will satisfy human wishes perfectly, and gives the reasoning for it in the message he brings to us. That's why in this context, the messengership of Muhammad and the message he brought to us don't contradict the reality of human beings and of the universe. So we understand that this man is not speaking from himself. This man is speaking according to the news message he receives from the Creator and conveys to us. That is how we understand that Muhammad cannot be a philosopher or cannot be a sage person who wanted to help the society from himself. No, because he solves the most important problem of human beings. That's what I understood from this paragraph. Thank you.
Thank you. It's clear to me now. Thanks a lot. Any questions here or reflections? Okay. All right. And so, my imaginary friend, that is enough for now. We must return, for if we remain 100 years in this age in the Arabian Peninsula, we still would only completely comprehend 1/100th of the marvels of that being's duties and the wonders he carried out. We would never tire of watching him. Now come, we shall look at the centuries, which will turn above us. See how each has opened like a flower through the effulgence it has received from that sun of guidance. They have produced millions of enlightened fruits, like Abi Hanifa, Shafi'i, Abu Bayezid Bistami, Sheikh Gilani, Sheikh Naqshbandi. Sorry about the screen. Imam Ghazali and Imam Rabbani. But postponing the details of our observations to another time, we must recite some bendications for that displayer of miracles and bringer of wisdom, of guidance, which mention a number of his certain miracles. The following paragraph is kind of like a prayer. Endless peace and blessings be upon our Master Muhammad, to the number of the good deeds of his community, to whom was revealed the all-wise criterion of truth and falsehood, from one most merciful, most compassionate, from the sublime throne, whose messengership was foretold by the Torah and Bible, and told of by wondrous signs, the voices of jinn, saints of man, and soothsayers. At whose indication the moon split. Our Master Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, thousands and thousands of times to the number of the breaths of his community, at whose beckoning came the tree, on whose prayer rain swiftly fell, and whom the cloud shaded from the heat, who satisfied 100 men with his food, from between whose fingers 3 times flowed water like the spring of Kawthar, and to whom God made speak the lizard, the gazelle, the wolf, the torso, the arm, the camel, the mountain, the rock, and the clod. The one who made this ascension and whose eye did not waver, our master and intercessor, Muhammad. Peace and blessings be upon him. Thousands and thousands of times to the number of the letters of the Quran formed in the words, represented with the permission of the most merciful in the mirrors of the airwaves, at the reciting of all the Quran's words by all reciters from when it was first revealed to the end of time, and grant us forgiveness and have mercy on us, O God, for each of those blessings. Ameen. Any reflections here? Okay. The one interesting thing for me in this prayer was when I first read the word master, I realized I have such a negative definition for the word master. It's always associated with something evil or like something powerful. And then the first thing the prayer starts with, it says, to the number of the good deeds of his community. And then I was kind of relieved to read this. And then when I read the part where it says, to whom was revealed the all-wise criterion of truth and falsehood, it was very liberating. It's just very liberating to me.
I understand master is mentor.
Okay.
Mentor.
Thank you. That's a better, thanks. It's a better understanding.
Not the boss.
Ah, okay, okay. Okay. Let's continue.
And also, as you pointed out, stating that this is the important thing, is the criterion between right and falsehood. What the message brought to us, all-wise creator of truth and falsehood, really, we should understand the Quran rather than reducing it to some commandments or regulations of one's personal and social life, which is very rare in the Quran compared to the all bulk of the message, but a very small proportion of the Quran. We should read all of them. We should read the Quran to see how the Quran is really separating the truth from falsehood. We have to pay attention to this rather than reading the stories or some sort of descriptions of the reality of this universe, but pay attention while he is describing what is going on in the universe and the nature of the universe, so delicate and feeble, I think the word, so feeble, cannot really stand on its own. These kind of descriptions are full of, a lot of, full of the Quran is full of this kind of descriptions. So what is the truth and falsehood there? It's very, whether the universe can exist by itself or not. That is what we have to understand, so that we have to come back to ourselves and say that, can I exist by myself or, meaninglessly, or am I created deliberately by a conscious, powerful, wise, knowledgeable being? This is the most important question, because according to the answer, if I am an accidental being, my life is meaningless, and all my efforts in this world would become pointless, meaningless. But if I am deliberately created, then I am very precious then, because someone who has preferred to create me and decorate me with all my human feelings and prepared the universe for me as my home. So that is very important for me to have a meaningful, honorable life. So alternative of not believing in a conscious creator reduces human beings to nothing at all, no significance at all. So human honor, human feelings cannot accept this option. Unfortunately, people, although they have their honor, they are very sensitive. They want to be respected in the society, but how they explain the universe as meaningless, pointless being. But if you tell them that you are meaningless, you are pointless in your existence, you have no honor at all, you are just an accidental being, he would feel offended. So the Quran makes all this difference between truth and falsehood, wrong understanding and right understanding of existence. So the Quran must be read by bearing this reality. Unfortunately, we may miss this point, because we may think that Quran is telling about what will happen during the doomsday. Nothing to do with it. It is describing the nature of existence of the universe, nature of existence of human beings, all talking about warning the human beings or giving good news to human beings. These are the reality, meaningless and or perfectly arranged end of my life. Which one is true? Which one my feelings can approve, can confirm? So we have to see the function of the Quran as being the criterion of truth and falsehood, and read the Quran accordingly, which is mostly ignored in the general presentation of the religion of Islam. What makes the Prophet Muhammad most significant is the message he received from the Creator. So without the Quran, Prophet Muhammad is nobody. But at the same time, without the prophet who is really conveying the message, distributing the message, defending the message in his whole life and practicing it in his private life and social life, Quran becomes a theoretical book, abstract notions, so that it cannot function as a guide to human beings. So they actually support each other, complement each other, and make a whole reality. Quran and the messenger, message and the messenger cannot be separated. That's why if we appreciate the Quran, we must appreciate the Prophet Muhammad. If we rightly understand the Quran, it means we can rightly analyze the life of the Prophet Muhammad or mission of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. That's what I concluded from this supplication or benediction. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. The following is like similar to a footnote. I'm just going to read it very quickly. I have described the evidences for Muhammad's, peace be upon him, prophethood, which I have here indicated briefly in a Turkish treatise called, I have no idea how to say it, and in the 19th letter, The Miracles of Muhammad, and there are two aspects of the all-wise Quran's miraculousness have been mentioned briefly. Again, in Turkish treatise called, don't know, Glimpse in English though, and in the 25th word, the miraculousness of the Quran, I have explained concisely 40 ways in which the Quran is a miracle and indicated 40 aspects of its miraculousness. And of those 40 aspects, only the eloquence in the word order I have written in 40 pages in an Arabic commentary called Isharat al-Ijaz, Signs of Miraculousness. If you have the need, you may refer to those 3 works. Okay. Moving on to the next droplet. And I think what Brother Ali was just sharing is a very good introduction to this droplet, as it will be talking about the Quran. So the all-wise Quran, the treasury of miracles and supreme miracle, proves the prophethood of Muhammad, peace be upon him, together with divine unity so decisively that it leaves no need for further proof. And we shall give its definition and indicate 1 or 2 flashes of its miraculousness, which have been the cause of criticism. Okay. The all-wise Quran, which makes known to us our sustainer. I just want to remind us that at the beginning of this word, there were 3 things that the author mentioned that make known to us our sustainer, which were the Quran, the universe, and Muhammad. So I'll continue reading. The all-wise Quran, which makes known to us our sustainer, is thus. It is the pre-eternal translator of the great book of the universe. The disclosure of the treasures of the divine names concealed in the pages of the earth and the heavens, the key to the truths hidden beneath these lines of events, the treasury of the favors of the most merciful and pre-eternal addresses, which come forth from the world of unseen, beyond the veil of this manifest world. The sun, foundation, and plan of the spiritual world of Islam, and the map of the worlds of the hereafter. I think this is a good place to pause and reflect. Or if we have any questions. All right. Go ahead, Prophet Haji.
Just my reflections on this text, which is written under 14th droplet. As you also pointed out, that the necessity, inevitability of the Prophet Muhammad and the Quran must be considered together. We cannot really separate them. That is what is mentioned earlier on. Now, the 14th droplet, this section mentions about the definitions of the Quran from different perspectives. From one aspect, the main mission of the Quran is to explain, to demonstrate with evidence who our sustainer is, who is really taking care of this world, who is the one who created this universe. So the purpose of the Quran is this. Why is it important? While we are really appreciating the Prophet, reading the Quran, we have to bear in mind why we appreciate the Quran. What is the reason for us to appreciate the Quran? When we read the Quran, Quran speaks with a lot of examples, doesn't speak clear straight away, because the subject of the Quran is related to mainly unseen world. It means not this world, but another existence, another level of existence, such as existence of the Creator, existence of the hereafter. What is the significance of this universe? This universe is only an evidence to the necessity of the existence of the absolute Creator, absolute being, and next creation. The absolute being and the next creation are not really physically experienced in this world. While we are reading the Quran, we have to notice that Quran speaks about abstract notions, not physical things. Physical things are evidence, but evidence itself is not the purpose. Evidence only is used in order to demonstrate what this universe points to, what is beyond this universe, behind this universe, if you like. So Physical evidences are practically mentioned. Mountains are there, animals are, stars are, all kinds of insects, insignificant things. The Quran says they are very significant, they are very meaningful, they are very powerful examples of the qualities of their creator. This is easy to understand when the Quran talks about the spider, ants, and honeybees, moon, and the sun, and human beings, mountains, camels, or fruits. It is easy to understand, but they are not the point. They are just a means to understand, to make human beings understand the existence of something which is beyond the capacity of human perception. We cannot perceive absolute being. We cannot perceive a universe which is not like this universe. It is a completely different existence. So these abstract notions must be presented to us in by using examples, similes, analogies. So describing it not in the physical form exactly as they are, but using symbols and different ways of languages used in the Quran, which are called really figures of speeches. All kinds of figures of speeches are employed in the Quran. So although Quran's message is clear, but the language is full of figures of speeches and analogies, we have to pay attention and to this aspect of the Quran and not miss the point. We may just read that, Quran is talking about something, and we know that. And what is the point in mentioning that? This is just an example. This is just a way of describing something which is beyond human perception, the capacity of human perception. That's why, although Quran is clear, although it is easy to understand the message, it is easy to understand the message, but we have to be aware of the language of the Quran and the nature of the subject of the Quran, which is in Arabic, ghaib. We cannot perceive it physically. That is why, for example, the description is here, translator of the great book of the universe. Now, it is translating the physical existence of the universe and demonstrating what it points to, and treasures, disclosure of the treasures of the divine names. What does it mean, divine names? The qualities of the creator of the universe. And these are treasures. Why? When we see here, for example, when I look at it, I see a pigeon. Now, pigeon is pigeon. That is an animal. That so seems to be simple and not very significant. But the way it is given existence discloses the qualities, infinite qualities of its creator. But pigeon is simple, but not in existence. It is not simple, but because it looks like ordinary being, like one of the birds, a kind of bird, a species of bird. But what is behind it, or the Quran mentions about the pigeon, not for the sake of pigeon. Example, I'm using it as an example, but for the sake of the divine names which are disclosed in the Quran on the example of the pigeon. So we have to know the principles of reading the Quran so that we can understand it. Now, Quran must be read as the key and not the lock. The lock is the universe, but to unlock the universe, try to understand what is hidden beneath the events, the things are created. For example, wind are there, storm there, and wild animals are created. The universe is perfectly arranged, but the stars are coming into existence, galaxies are dying, living beings are dying. These are the things, as the example shows, locks. The Quran is the key to unlock this. Why is it mentioning, or why the universe is created in this way? And it explains why earthquakes happen, calamities happen, why sometimes thousands of people are dying, why some people declare war, some nation declare war against others, and poor people are killed and harmed. All these events need to be explained. This is what the mission of the Quran, to explain. So treasury is demonstrated, presented to human beings. So all these things that the universe is coming from the world of unseen, beyond the veil of his manifest word. Everything is coming from an absolute being, but we don't see him. But when we look at what is coming from, we understand that, for example, we understand that this, the source of this universe is something so significant. Let's say there is a factory, a plant, where the cars are manufactured. We are at the end of the factory seeing that a perfectly working cars are coming one after another. And what beyond the door of this plant, there must be a factory. Lots of engineers are working there. Many machines are working there. How do we understand that? Because every time there is a car perfectly arranged and working, coming out of this building. So the Quran explains that we are seeing the cars, the universe, the things of this universe, but we don't see what is in the factory. So Quran discloses all this. And also, spiritual world is also explained in the Quran, and it gives us a description of the reality of the spiritual world of Islam. It means what the Quran says: paradise, hell. my feelings. So I can understand and I can really put my body in a lab, but I cannot understand, I cannot put my feelings in a lab. It is impossible. So what are these feelings referring to? So the Quran explains your feeling of fear, hope, love, hate, whatever the feelings we have. What do they refer to? Quran explains this by examples. Examples, but not in an abstract way, but using symbolic languages describing the fear of the unbeliever, hope and pleasure of the believers in such a way that they are really referring to the description of the spiritual world in this world as humans, human feelings, and in the hereafter. So, and also the last one, I don't know, I think we read today, map of the words of the hereafter. Gives it map of the world of the hereafter. What does it mean? Not the words of the hereafter, it means paradise and hell, and what is going to happen there, how are we going to question and taken into account of what we have done with what God, the Creator, has given us in this world. These are described in the form of a map. Can you imagine a map? Demonstrates only there are mountains here, there are rivers here, and a valley here, etc. But all the description of this map cannot really represent the reality at all. For example, a brown, different shades of brown colors we see on the map. If the shade is dark, we understand that there is a high mountain here. If the shade of the color of brown is light, we say, it's not that high mountain. But this color has nothing to do with the mountain, in the reality of mountain. That's why we are reading the Quran, and where the Quran describes the paradise and hell, this is nothing but a map. We cannot say that, oh yeah, in the hereafter, fire is burning the people. And imagine the fire burns somebody or some people here in this world. Nothing to do with it. This is just a map. In reality, we don't know, but we understand there must be such things. There must be some things. Quran discloses all the mysteries of this kind of realities that human beings are feeling in this world. And for example, I give the example of a person who committed a crime when 20 years before, for example, this Holocaust generals who commanded and to kill the people in this way or another way. And how many years later, I don't know how many years later, maybe 50 years later, they investigated, found out the generals or responsible people who committed a human genocide, a kind of human genocide in Germany. And they took them to the court and put them in prison, punished. Look, this reality demonstrates that this reality. Even I commit something, misuse the trust given to me as a human being, all my feelings, misused it. And I didn't respect this trust, just really consume it carelessly without treating them honorably. 50 years later, when it is proven that I have done this in this world, we don't say, oh, it was 50 years ago, it is gone. No, human feeling said there must be punished. This person must be punished for it. Exactly in the same Quran gives the news that you can do something here, but when the evidence is presented to you after you die by the one who preserves all the records of your life, he presents it to you and says, look, you have done this crime. Isn't that according to human feelings, this person must be punished, although it happened in the world, but now the records are presented by the Creator who preserves everything and demonstrates that he does this. Trees die, but their seeds preserve all qualities of the trees. So this kind of similes, examples must be understood that the Quran explains everything in a figurative way. We have to learn how, study, we think seriously while we are reading the Quran. Most of the people, majority of the people, read the Quran from translations, and in the translations, all the points that we have been talking here are missed. So we have to wake up and take studying the Quran seriously. Thank you very much. I think I spoke a lot.
Thank you. All right. The paragraph continues to say, again, about the Quran. It's the distinct expounder, lucid exposition, articulate proof, and clear translator of the divine essence, attributes, and deeds. The instructor, true wisdom, guide, and leader of the world of humanity. It is both a book of wisdom and law, and a book of prayer and worship, and a book of command and summons, and a book of invocation and divine knowledge. It is a book for all spiritual needs, and it is a sacred library offering books appropriate to the ways of all the saints and veracious, the purified, and the scholars whose ways and paths are all different. I really like the description of the Quran, which says it is a book for all spiritual needs. I think I don't usually see it described this way. Any questions here or reflections? Go ahead, Brother Ali.
There must be a reason for our friends not to speak.
Yeah.
So I speak a lot, but I want others to say something and share their feelings. Now, we talked about divine essence, attributes, states. We refer to them. But here, what it attracted my attention, the book of wisdom and law. Why the Quran is a book of law? I mean, do we need laws? As you were sensitive about the word master, law means authority. Law means really restrictions, regulations. We have to ask, do we need regulations in the world? Nothing to do with the Quran now. Practically speaking, do we need regulations in this world? Is there any country in the world, any nation in the world, any tribe even in the world who has no regulations? I don't think so. If there was no regulation, there would be chaos. Why? Because human beings have free will, and the free will is not restricted. We are not forced not to choose wrong actions. In our existence, we are free to choose right action or wrong action. Although in our feelings, apart from free will, feelings repel doing something wrong and encourage and feel happy when we do something right. Now, feelings are encouraging factors, but free will may listen, may not listen to our feelings. Most of the time, we listen to our feelings. Most of the people listen to their feelings, but not necessarily that we have to listen to our feelings. That is the nature of human beings. So our free will needs to be regulated. That is why we need guidance. Do this, don't do this. If you do this, you will be punished. Of course, the punishment side is taking place in two ways. One way is in our feelings. When we do something wrong, we feel not happy. We feel a kind of sorrow and pain in our feelings. But this is not the end of the story. It must be, for example, if I am careless and while I'm driving, I hit somebody, or when the person is damaged because of my careless driving, I feel sorry. I'm not happy. No one says that I'm happy that I hit an innocent person on the street. I broke his leg. No one can say this. I feel that I have done something wrong. I am sorry. I feel guilty within myself. But this is not the end of the story. The police comes or the authorities come and punish me. That is something else. My feelings punishes me a little bit, but in physical terms, that's how we are created. The law and order is applied there, practiced there, and I will be punished because of my careless driving and damaging somebody's life. Exactly the same way, these feelings, the way that we are created, witnesses that my feelings tell me what is right, what is wrong, but I don't have to follow, I don't have to obey. That is why we see in the world, not everywhere is paradise. There are prisons as well, and there are courts, judges are, police system are, army system, armies are organized by human beings, because everybody knows that human beings have free will and may misuse them. Do you think Quran will be silent about it? No. Quran will say, will put his own regulations, divine regulations. That is why we have to bear in mind that although in a general sense, like a constitutional form, Quran mentions about the regulations like a constitutional form. It means the main principles of the administration are mentioned in the Constitution. When it comes to the practice, we have to see the life of the Prophet, and those scholars make analogies by looking at the life of the Prophet and making it more and more practical as far as human life is concerned. These regulations may be personal, may be social. Personal regulations are mostly personal responsibilities of rituals, communication with God, prayer and worship of God. But social regulations are really in Islamic literature, we can see that there are rules, punishments mentioned in the Quran, rewards mentioned in the Quran in this world. In this world. That is why the Quran should not neglect presenting or organizing our lives here. So it is a book for all spiritual needs. We touched upon it. I should not take your time on it because we touched all spiritual, human spirits, human feelings need to be enlightened, explained. I feel something, I may not know what it refers to. The Quran presents it to us and explains what our feelings really refer to. But this kind of explanations in the Quran, the spiritual needs, are presented to us in the examples of the stories of the prophets, examples of the stories of the other people, examples are given. And we have to read these examples of the prophets in order to understand which kind of spiritual needs that we have and how we are going to use them in the best, in the most useful way. The Quran gives these descriptions and gives these rulings, but we have to know that the mission of the Quran includes all these elements, and the Quran must be read accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any last comments or questions? Okay, I guess we can stop here. Thank you all very much. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.